you guys. Happy Sunday. Welcome back to another episode of Presley's Pod. Yes, I am aware that for the past 2 weeks, I've been saying Lauren and Addie are coming on this show. Have they been here? No. Are they here right now? No. So you're stuck with me, okay? We spent the entire weekend together, and the plan was on Sunday to pod. But by the time Sunday rolled around, we were sitting in my apartment, and like the conversations were getting a little deep, and we were like opening up, talking about our lives and our futures and all those good things. And that's not the time to like whip out the microphones and say, you know what, one more time, will you say that again for the pod? So it truly wasn't the vibe, but you have me here to recap me and Addie's birthday weekends. Okay, don't stress. My birthday's at the end of July and her birthday is coming up this week. So you're going to be okay. Actually, no, when this episode comes out, her birthday will have already passed. So, anyway, the plan was for, let's recap, okay? Friday night, Addie, Lauren, and I going to dinner to celebrate the birthdays, okay? Saturday day, brunch party. Sunday, TBD. Okay? So let's just let's recap. I think I mentioned that the brunch party reservation was made months in advance, okay? So, Friday during the day, my like intuition starts to kick in a little bit. I feel like a little breeze, something in the air that says, let me just call the restaurant for Saturday and make sure that we have a table towards the back of the restaurant. Okay? Because that's where the party happens. You can still party in the front of the restaurant. For example, last time Addie and I were there, they had to add another table to the restaurant for us because we did not have a reservation. The reservation was made by a man 2 days before. And I said this on the episode, we were so in the way of everyone, but we sat there at our little table and our little brunch party. Okay. So I was like, let's make sure we're in the back because like all the cool people were in the back. So I called the restaurant on Friday and I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? Hey, so I have a reservation tomorrow. I just, we're celebrating two birthdays. Like, I just want to make sure that, I wanted to see if I could request a table in the back, please, sir. And he was like, yep, I have you guys down. Like, yay. But he was like, but I also wanted to let you know that there's no DJ tomorrow. And I said, what? Say that one more time. And he said, yeah, there's no DJ tomorrow. We don't do it for July and August. Okay, let's dissect that a little bit, okay? One, you go to this restaurant for the DJ, okay? Like you don't go for the food, right? Last time I got a chicken Caesar salad, they didn't bring me any dressing. And so when the DJ party club situation started, I asked for some dressing and I was like, we're in the middle of a club, like no one's bringing me dressing. So I sat there and I ate chicken and vegetables, okay? And so we're not going to this restaurant for the food, we're going for the DJ party. So I said, okay. Well, luckily, I had called like 2 hours before the 24-hour cancellation because it was going to be $50 a person to cancel. And I said, you guys need to put this on the website or something. Okay. Yes, I get it. A majority of New York is like gallivanting around the Hamptons, going to Europe, doing whatever. But some of us are still here. Some of us are still here and we still want a DJ brunch party. Okay. We're ready to rage. So I like, my brain shut off and I could feel from my toes the blood starting to boil. And I was like, Presley, do not go off on this guy. It's not his fault. And I had to say, like, thank you, universe, for telling me to call the restaurant because if we had gotten there and we were stuck at this restaurant eating Caesar salads with no dressing, like that would have been a lot worse than me calling and canceling and having to pivot. Okay. So this is Friday afternoon. We're 24 hours out from a 5-person brunch party reservation. Okay. Yes, people are gone in New York, but also like getting a reservation like that the day before. mm, Yeah. So I go through my little Rolodex in my brain and I start listing out some restaurants and I go, boom, 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 check. Nope, they're all booked. Okay, check, booked, check, booked. So I had my phone, like 3 tabs, literally pulled up. And it was one was chat, one was a text message with Addie, the other was like the internet so I could figure out the reservations, etc. So I text the girls and I'm like, yeah, so there's no brunch party tomorrow. We have to pivot. And I start just like firing away texts. I'm texting friends. I'm like, we need some sort of brunch party because like I'm like not really a brunch person. Like I don't want to go like midday and eat like a massive meal. Like every time I go to brunch, I get really sleepy after. Even if I like don't drink. If someone's just like, "Oh yeah, let's go grab brunch at 11." Like I just always want to go to bed after. I don't know. Maybe that's like part of my stomach issues. I don't know. Like I swear I come home and I need to lay down. So, I don't know. Anyway, so I am texting everyone, asking chat. Addie and I are asking chat. We're sending everything back and forth. Like literally everything's booked. So my friend Hayden, who you all know and love, she says, "Oh, this restaurant does a brunch party on Saturdays." And I said, "Perfect." I looked at their Instagram. The party looked like a way better party than this other restaurant on the Upper East Side. Anyway, I was like, "Perfect." Perfect because I had planned this all for everybody, okay? Me, Addie, Lauren, Addie's friend Bridget, who's now one of our friends, and you'll definitely see her on the pod at some point, and the 26-year-old. The 26-year-old, I'm pretty sure Bridget came from like somewhere, maybe her mom's house somewhere in Jersey, and like people were coming to town for this. The 26-year-old left Boston that morning, came for the brunch party, and was leaving the following morning, okay? So like pressure was on. So I look up this restaurant in Flatiron. We get a reservation, and like I can feel the weight off of my shoulders. I send everyone the new reservation. I say we're going here. Get your get your party outfits ready. Get ready to dance. Perfect. Great. Saturday's handled. Chef's kiss. Shout out to me. So, Friday night, Addie, Lauren, and I go to dinner at 8 p.m. Okay. Luckily, it was still light outside, so that like tricked my brain into thinking that it wasn't 8 p.m. We go to like a trendy restaurant downtown. Okay. We're downtown girls. I always am like, am I cool enough to be down here? I don't know. So the restaurant, first of all, I told them that we were celebrating 2 birthdays. The host texted me and I don't it said it wasn't automated. I don't know. And I was like, "Oh yeah." I told them again, we're celebrating 2 birthdays. Like we don't need two massive cakes and candles and sparklers. Like it would just be nice to have a dessert that said like happy birthday. So celebrating 2 birthdays, whatever, we sit down. The food was amazing, but like I feel like the issue with a lot of these like trendy, cool restaurants, it was so dark. The music was so loud. I was sweating because it was packed. I was also like where I was sitting, I was in the way. Like I was so close to the table behind me that I like kept feeling people pass me and like no one ever bumped, but we got close, okay? And I feel sometimes like, yes, it's fun to go to those restaurants, but too, like, for a catch up, if that's your vibe, but for a catch up with friends, like, we were screaming at each other, and it was literally, I feel like I couldn't see them. I was like, it's so dark. Anyway, the food was great. We recapped the stress that I went through about calling the restaurant, all the things. We finished our food. No birthday dessert comes. Meanwhile, table next to us, birthday dessert. We even told the waitress that we were celebrating two birthdays. And I was like, maybe we like just put it on really like way too heavy. Um, but anyway, table next to us, we were like, happy birthday. Great. Good for you. So whatever reward system this restaurant has, when you pay your bill, maybe it's like your credit card, I don't know. Lauren goes to pay like her third of the bill and she says, "Oh my gosh, you guys, they just gave me a free Uber Black from like paying this bill with the rewards or whatever." And it was probably 10-ish. And the plan, we had no plans to go anywhere else. You know, we were like, let's go to dinner, let's save it for tomorrow. It's okay. But then if someone gives you a free Uber Black, you're like, well, we might as well go somewhere closer to where we have to go home. Okay. So we said, you know what? It's our birthdays. Let's go to a bar that's on the way home, gets us closer. Whatever. We go to the bar. This bar used to give late 20s, mid 30s vibes. Okay. We walk in and it's been like infiltrated by the 21-year-olds, which is fine. Like, shout out to you guys. Shout out. Um, but we were like, okay, different vibe, but we can still make it fun. And I knew that everyone was so young because we ordered three espresso martinis and the guy next to me was like, "Whoa, what are those?" And I was like, "Oh, brother, we are in the land of the early 20s." But I was like, "How do you not?" Anyway, we drink our espresso martinis. We like make our way towards the back room of the bar. We thought that there was like a private party happening because they had a bouncer standing in front of the back room, but he was just there to like suss out who was allowed to go in the back room, which is so crazy. We were standing by the entrance and we were like, okay, well, I guess when the party's over, like we can go back there. And then he was like, "Oh, are you guys trying to get back here?" And we were like, "Yes." And he was like, "Give me a couple minutes." We stood there and then he let us in the back room. Anyway, so obviously Lauren has a boyfriend. I have the 26-year-old. So we were not like on the prowl at all. We were having the best time dancing, being silly. Like we were the only people dancing always. And we were at one point Lauren and I were like, you know that when you're like pretending to walk down the stairs. We were doing that. Like we people probably thought that we were like on some sort of drugs or something. But so for our Addie girl, we were like, okay, there were some prospects. We can chat to some people, see what's going on. The only people that came up to us were these two guys. One came up to me because I was wearing my hair kind of like this and like a little bun situation. And he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry earlier. I think I like knocked into your head and like messed up your hair," something like that. Honestly, it was so loud and I was like, "What are you saying? It's way past my bedtime." But I was like, "Oh no, you're fine, like all good." And then he walked away. Then we were at the bar because at this bar the espresso martinis come with like a little s'mores. So basically it's on a skewer, a roasted marshmallow, a little graham cracker, a little chocolate, like chef's kiss. So we are at the bar and Addie was like, "I want another marshmallow and I want to blow it out for my birthday." So I was like, "I got you. Anything you want, my sweet Pookie." So I was like standing at the bar and I was like, "I'll get someone's attention, whatever." It's like, it's my friend's birthday. She wants another marshmallow. And whatever. He goes to give it to Addie, and I was like, "Oh no, 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 she wants it like on fire so she can blow it out for her birthday." And he just laughed, and I was like, "Thank you so much." So then those two guys came back over, and they were talking to us, and it was very like friend vibes, but I was like, they asked our names, they asked what we do, they asked like, oh, because it was our birthdays, they were like, "How old are you guys?" And I was like, "Well, oh, okay, interesting topic. Yep, interesting way to like, you know, get to talk to us." But then someone said that I have a pod. and I have a podcast. And I was like, woohoo. He was like, are we going to be on the podcast? And I was like, honestly, depending on what you say next, maybe. He was like, oh, do you have any advice for like, you know, men, whatever? And I was like, you guys are honestly doing it. Like, you should be going out and you should be talking to girls. Like, the more that you can do this, the better, because guys don't really do that anymore. So, like, shout out to you two. Like, get back out there. So we leave. I go to get on the train that okay. Also, Friday night in New York City, like, I don't understand how we haven't figured out the trains. It's like 11, I think it was like 11:45. I go to get on my train, 15 minutes away. So I'm like, okay, great. Come back up, turn around. I see the girls in the distance. I call them. I'm like, plot twist, I'm taking your train home. Go with Addie, take the train home. The train was going express. The train that's usually local that drops me off in front of my house was going express. So I go all the way up like 20 blocks past where I'm supposed to be, get in a taxi, come all the way back home. It's like 12:30. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed. I'm stressed about tomorrow because I'm not going to be in the mood to party. I already know. It's like, I got to get to bed. Why did I have an espresso martini? I got to take like enough melatonin to balance all of this out. I go to bed and I sleep a little bit because I had a yoga class at 9 a.m. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to yoga. I can come back. I can try to take a nap, because the plan was the 26-year-old comes to New York, comes to my apartment. We go to the restaurant together. There was going to be a really quick turnaround. Like, he got in at like 2 something at 2, and I think we needed to leave at like 2:40 to make the 3 o'clock reservation. So I was like, okay, perfect. I have time. I have time, all the time in the world to nap, get my life together. It's going to be okay. I I have a little slight problem with napping. Every time I lay down to nap, my brain just starts thinking. And I start thinking and I start going. And then I feel myself falling asleep. And then I get excited that I'm falling asleep. And then I snap right back out of it. And then I start thinking about all the things that I need to do when I wake up from said nap. Okay. So I just laid there with my eyes closed for an hour, but at least I brought the heart rate down. I tricked my body into resting. And I was like, yeah, we're chill. We're re-energizing ourselves. And then it was time to get up and get ready for party brunch. Okay. I drank an energy drink, cracked open a bloom, and I was like, Presley, you can rally. The thing about Presley can't do 2 nights in a row. Like, that's where I really feel the effects of just like my social battery. And especially if I'm drinking. I mean, I don't like drink, but even just like having 2 beverages 2 nights in a row, like, that gets me. I'm just not built for it. And so I was feeling like a little, So, side note, my outfit that I was planning to wear was perfect for the first location. Like, it was giving the vibes of where we were going. I was like, nailed it. For the second location that we had to pivot to, I was like, okay, that outfit still kind of works, but it would be better and it would match more like the vibe of the restaurant if I wore this other dress instead. So I was like, you know what? I'll try them both on and I'll see. I try on the dress and I'm like, cool, like, looks good, but I wasn't feeling like super confident and I wasn't feeling like my like best self, whatever. And I was like, okay, but this is like perfect for the vibe. Like, it's like a white slip dress. I was like, this is like daytime brunch and like a Greek party. Like, it was perfect. So then I put on the outfit that I was planning to wear, which like might not be like matching the vibe completely. And it literally was like sunshine and rainbows started like started coming up all around me. I don't know how to explain it, but I was like, this is the one. Like, this is the one. And Hayden and I have talked about this before. She's like, sometimes on a date, I just want to wear a sweater and jeans. Like, that's what I feel comfortable in. Sometimes I don't feel like dressing sexy. And I was like, you know what? I feel the same. It's when we were talking about our fashion, like, thinking about how our style is changing as we get older. Sometimes you don't want to sit there and be uncomfortable. even if it matches the vibe way better. So I was like, you know what? It's my birthday. I want to be comfortable. I'm going to wear what I want to wear. And I'm so happy that I decided to wear that, because then I would have been sitting there like stressing about my outfit the entire time. Anyway, so so we 26-year-old comes, we get in an Uber, we head down to our party brunch. Let's just take a moment of silence, okay? We head to our party brunch. Our reservation was at 3 p.m. And from what I saw on the internet, the party really gets going at 3:30, okay? Lauren's the first one there. She's sitting at the bar, chatting to the bartender, and she texts in the group chat and she says, "It's not that it's not that crowded yet. You guys are fine. Take your time." And in my head, I'm like, not that crowded yet. Huh. Hmm. I don't know if I like the sound of that. We walk in, the lights of this restaurant are on, full, fully on, and there's literally three tables that people are sitting at. And I'm like, okay, I don't tell anybody this, but in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe like 3:30 people start piling in. Like, I don't know. Like, this is weird. I have this thing, like, granted, I just said I don't really like going to some of the trendy places because they're dark and loud, but you never want to walk into a restaurant when your vibe is to like party and have fun, and you don't want to walk into an empty restaurant, because then I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I don't do this a lot. I'd rather go somewhere where like it's packed and it's a vibe and whatever. Anyway, I also was like, I planned this party brunch for these people plus the two like out of towners that are coming to this, and this is not looking like a party brunch. Okay? Because if we were going to go eat somewhere, we wouldn't have picked this place, right? You don't like, the food was good, but like it wasn't like, oh, we're going to go have like a fabulous meal, if that makes sense. So, we get walked to our table, we sit down. My anxiety is like through the roof. Okay. We got a lot of stuff going on. One, I promised these people a party brunch, no party brunch. Two, the 26-year-old is meeting Lauren. He's hanging out with Addie. He's hanging out with Bridget. He's hanging out with all of my friends. Okay. This is why I don't host, like, I don't host things that I can't control, right? If I have friends over, I can host. We're all going to have fun, and then I can kick them out when I'm ready to go to bed. But this, like, we had a lot of other factors. Okay. So I was sitting there stressed. And I ate before because I thought we were walking into like a party vibe. And I was having PTSD from last time eating chicken Caesar salad with no dressing in the middle of a club, because I was like, I'm starving and I need to eat something, especially if we're going to be drinking. So I ate before. And so then we're sitting at the restaurant and I'm like, well, I'm not hungry. So I guess I'll eat this bread. So we sit there. I know that I'm acting weird. I can feel that I'm acting weird. I'm literally sitting with a straight spine, hands clasped at the table, and I have start to get this like bird's eye view of what's going on. I'm like, is the 26-year-old having fun meeting my friends? Are my friends having fun hanging out with the 26-year-old? Are people upset that it's not a brunch party? Like, do people actually want to be here right now? Like, are they going to be upset that this wasn't like the vibe that I promised? Like, what's going on? So I start to get like so in my head about all of that happening. And I literally thought of my mom, because whenever my mom preps dinner for our entire family, or we have people over, we do all the things, like the kitchen is right near the dining room table. We'll all sit down for dinner and she just like hovers in the kitchen, and she's just standing there and she's like trying to suss out if we're all enjoying the food and like having a good time. And we're always like, Mom, we're fine, sit down, like the food's great, like please sit down and just enjoy. And I was like, that's exactly how I'm behaving right now. So as the afternoon went on, I started to loosen up a little bit, started to have more fun. I was like, I just felt so bad that I like thought that it was going to be a party brunch and it wasn't. And I literally forgot that we were also there to celebrate me. Okay. So, like, if you guys ever see some sort of like partyful invitation from me, I was hacked. I was hacked because I'm not like I will host people in my space, but I'm not gonna go host people and like I just stress so much about making sure that everybody's having a good time. Anyway, so we finish at party brunch. We walk. You all saw the pictures on Instagram. I was like, I don't, I don't want to take the pictures, but Addie was like, you have a great outfit on. Like, Presley, smile for the camera. We take the pictures. We go to another bar. We walk towards the bar where we want to go, packed. So we go down the street to a quieter bar where we can just sit there and enjoy. We said that it was our birthday. We got some free stuff, yada, yada. Around 8 p.m., I was like, all right, we gotta wrap it up because now I'm hungry and I think we gotta call it. So, 8 p.m., 26-year-old and I come back to my apartment. We eat sushi. We have like one of our, something that like I love about us when we hang out is that we can have like deep conversations about the world and about like what stresses us out and about like how we feel about life and everything. And to me, it's very similar to how I feel when I talk to Lauren and Addie about it. Like, I don't feel like I have to put on a certain version of myself around him and I can just fully be me. And I think part of that too is I actively made the decision that I'm fully going to be myself right from the beginning because there's no point in like trying to be somebody else because as you get more into it or trying to put on this like perfect persona because as you get more into it like the like cracks are going to show and then you're like who is this person that I'm dating, like this is not who I met. Anyway, so I that was Saturday night. And so by Sunday morning, I was like, I am exhausted from just like the stress of Saturday. But like at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? We had a good time. Like we really did have a good time. We made friends with like the staff because no one else was there. Because no one else was there. We made friends. We like, it was fun. Like I had a great time. And I'm like, everyone's telling me they had a great time. So I'm hoping they're not lying to me. So Sunday rolls around. I'm exhausted. 26-year-old leaves. Girls come over. We were like, now is not the time to pod, but we recapped the past 2 days. And Lauren and Addie were like, why were you acting so weird at brunch? Addie was like, why were you sitting with perfect posture with your hands like clasped at the table like you're about to be interviewed, okay? And I was like, you guys, I was so stressed. Like so and I just felt bad that I was like the host and the plans didn't come through and like I don't know why I was acting like I was some sort of event planner for this group and that like they're going to fire me if I don't perform, okay? So, I think that so that was the birthday recap. This weekend, I'm going on like a little beach vacation with the 26-year-old to also celebrate my birthday. And then on the night of my birthday, I'm going to one of my favorite bars for drinks with two of my friends, my friend Hadley and her boyfriend. But that was like the girls' celebration birthday weekend because Addie and I have July birthdays. Okay. The last thing that I want to say is the 26-year-old and I had kind of like a check-in of like a what are we like, how are we feeling, it's been like 5 months, like what are we like, what do we see the future looking like are we doing this, are we not doing this, like what's going on. And I struggle sometimes with words and communicating my feelings, but I'm getting a lot better at it. And I just want to say that I fully told this man exactly how I'm feeling. I was very open with how I'm feeling, and I did not hold anything back. And going into that conversation, I was like, okay, and if he like for some reason changes his mind, that's okay because I told him exactly how I feel. And you guys, the next morning I woke up and I felt very like empowered in a way. And I felt very just at peace because I was like, he knows exactly how I feel about him and how I feel about, the future of our situation. So if for some reason it ends, like obviously I'd be sad, but I wouldn't feel like that there was something else that like I needed to say or that I hadn't said or that I was holding on to or like whatever. And so part of me is like, just like tell them how you feel. Just like feel your feelings, you know? And that was like the first time that I'd ever felt, or first time that I ever had one of those conversations where you're having like the what are we talk, where I didn't feel kind of weird after, where you're like, was that weird? Did I say everything that I needed to say? Like, I'm not sitting here and like psychoanalyzing everything that he said, everything that I said, yada, yada. Like, I truly woke up this morning and I was like, cool, I'm glad we talked. And, you know, if for some reason something changes, like, it's going to be okay because I feel very like at peace with everything that I said. So, when this episode comes out, I will be on my beach vacation, probably participating in some activities that I don't know if I don't know if I want to participate in. Like honestly, I think when this episode comes out, I might be on a bike. Okay? I might be going on a bike ride with the 26-year-old. So, can't wait to recap that. One day Addie and Lauren will be back on the pod, but I hope that everyone has a fabulous week and I'll see you next time. Bye.